Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there was a tiny kingdom. Here lived a widowed gentleman and his little daughter Cinderella. Although he was a kind and devoted father, and he gave his beloved child every luxury and comfort, he still felt that she needed a mother's care. So he remarried again, choosing his second wife, a crazy bitch named Sarah Palin with 2 daughters just Cinderella's age, by name John McCain and Chewbacca. It was upon the untimely death of this good man, however, that the stepmother's true nature was revealed. Cold, cruel, homophobic, and bitterly jealous of Cinderella's charm and beauty. She was grimly determined to follow the interest of her own 2 awful daughters. Thus, as time went by, the family's fortunes were squandered on the vain, selfish stepsisters, while Cinderella was abused, humiliated, and forced to be a servant in her own house. And yet through it all, Cinderella remained gentle and kind, and with each dawn she found a new hope that someday her dreams of happiness will soon come true. Cinderella imagined herself dancing at the royal ball as she held her mother's old dress against her. It needed a few alterations, but they wouldn't be difficult. If only she could find the time to do them. "Cinderella!" yelled her bitchy stepmother and stepsisters again. They were getting ready for the ball, and they wouldn't give Cinderella a moment's peace. "I guess my dress will have to wait," the poor girl sighed. As she left the room, Jack, one of Cinderella's most favorite mouse friends, said, "You know what? Cinderella's not going to the ball." The other mice looked at him startled. "Work, work, work," he explained with disgust. "She'll never get the dress done." Cinderella's animal friends decided to surprise her by fixing the dress. After all, she'd been caring for them for years. Just that day, she rescued poor Gus from a mousetrap. Then she dressed him, fed him, and protected him from her stepmother's mean cat. So together with the birds, her attic friends lifted ribbons and scissors and sewing needles to help make Cinderella's dream come true. "Oh, thank you so much," the beautiful girl exclaimed when she saw what her friends had done for her. The birds and mice were overjoyed to see Cinderella so happy. She deserved to have a special evening. Never complaining for all she had to endure from her stepsisters and stepmother, Cinderella still hoped that one day she would find true happiness. However, it was not long before her bitchy stepmother and stepsisters took hope away from her too. Tearing her beautiful dress to shreds, they left her alone sobbing in the garden. There," soothed a new voice. Cinderella's fairy Gaymother, Ellen DeGeneres, magically appeared. "Dry your tears," she said. "You can't go to the ball looking like a raggedy hobo." Cinderella started to explain that she wasn't going to the ball, but her fairy Gaymother wouldn't hear of it. Waving her magic wand, she turned a pumpkin into a magic coach. Cinderella and her animal friends stared at the magic in amazement. "Bippity-boppity-boo," sang Fairy Gaymother. Soon 4 of the mice, including Gus and Jack, were turned into proud horses. As for Cinderella, her new gown shimmered like diamonds. She stood staring at her image in the fountain with disbelief. "It's more than I'd ever hoped for," she declared, with her eyes sparkling. She arrived at the palace. Cinderella was swept into a dream world as she and Shane swirled around the dance floor. Everyone turned to stare at the beautiful girl who had caught Shane's eye. "Who is she?" they asked. "She must be a princess." None could have imagined that earlier that day she had been dressed in rags. Never had Cinderella known such happiness. As Shane bowed before her, she felt her heart pounding. They danced together in the castle garden, swept up in the splendor of the evening. Gazing into her eyes, Shane leaned to kiss her just as the clock struck 12. When she heard the bell toll, Cinderella remembered the fairy Gaymother's warning. The spell would be broken at midnight. She raced down the garden staircase leaving behind one of her dainty glass slippers. The next day, during her chores again, the young girl hummed dreamingly, realizing that Cinderella was Shane's mysterious love. Her stepmother mercilessly locked her in her attic room. "No, please let me out," cried Cinderella. She knew the Grand Duke was trying the glass slipper on every maiden in the kingdom. He would be here soon. "We've just got to get the key," Jack told Gus. Despite the danger, they pulled the key out of the stepmother's pocket and pushed and pulled it up the long staircase. With the last burst of energy, Cinderella's exhausted little friends were finally able to slip the key under the locked door. "Oh, thank you," she cried. Hurrying down the steps, Cinderella heard a crash. The slipper she left behind was broken. Pulling the other slipper from her pocket, she called to the Grand Duke, "May I try this one on?" The perfect fit proved that Cinderella was indeed the young woman who had won the heart of Shane. Jock and Gus cheered happily for their beautiful friend Cinderella as they watched her dreams come true. The end.